Praise be Jesus and Mary. Today we honor one of the Church's most inspiring saints, Saint Monica. She was born of Christian parents at Tagast, North Africa, in the year 332. At a young age, she married a pagan gentleman by the name of Patrick, with whom she had children, including Augustine. She lived as a model wife and mother, fitting the description of today's first reading from Sirach chapter 26. A holy and decent woman adds grace upon grace. Indeed, no price is worthy of her temperate soul. Like the sun rising in the Lord's heavens, the beauty of a virtuous wife is the radiance of the home. Through St. Monica's prayers and virtuous life, her husband Patricius eventually became a catechumen and received baptism on his deathbed. Though her son Augustine would also become a catechumen in his late teens, he fell into a life of sin, swept away by the lusts of the flesh and also the deceits of various heretical movements, particularly the Manichaean heresy, which among its many errors denied the divinity of Christ and the goodness of material creation. As a very good mother, St. Monica never lost sight of her son, even though he was, well into adulthood. It wasn't as if she would have nothing to do with him, but she kept following him, even physically, trying to stay close to him, even to the point of leaving her homeland when Augustine left as well, for Italy. And all the while, she would just pray for him and weep for him. In Italy, she would have the great fortune of encountering St. Ambrose. Her son also would come to learn of this great bishop of Milan, and he was particularly impressed with his preaching, his eloquence. St. Monica revealed her concerns for her son to the holy bishop, who encouraged her with these consoling words: "Let him be, and continue to pray for him. It is impossible that a son of so many tears should be lost." How beautiful. And what a prophecy. Those tears, those prayers would certainly win for her son, Augustine, many graces, the grace of conversion. In some way, Monica was like the widow in today's gospel passage who wept at the death of her only son, only to hear those words from Jesus, "Do not weep," and who would touch the coffin and command the dead man, "Young man, I tell you, arise." And then, as St. Luke narrates, the dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Augustine was raised from the dead, spiritually speaking, being freed from the death throes of sin and of heresy, fully converted to a life of grace and of truth. Not only that, he would become a great bishop, saint, and one of the most outstanding doctors of the church. And all this, thanks to his Holy Mother, thanks to her prayers, her sacrifices, her tears on his behalf. In one of his homilies for this memorial, St. John Paul II had this observation: "People said of St. Monica that she was twice mother of St. Augustine, since she not only gave him birth, but also won for him the Catholic faith and a Christian life." This should be said of every good Catholic mother, to give birth to their children twice over, biologically, physically, but also spiritually. For this reason, the Church rightly honors this saintly mother, Monica, on this day, the day before we celebrate the memorial of her son, Augustine, tomorrow, the mother precedes the son. Without the mother, there would be no son, as far as the saints are concerned. St. Monica died in Ostia, Italy, in the year 387. She's a special patroness of married women, mothers, and an inspiration for anyone who has loved ones who need prayers. And that would include probably everybody nowadays who has family members or relatives, those who are very near and dear to us, who are perhaps far from God, far from the church, fallen away, from the church and the sacraments. And yet, we too are called to pray them back home and also to weep for them, just like St. Monica did for those nearly 3 decades of prayer, weeping, sacrifice for the conversion or reversion of her son. Let's be like her, be inspired by her example, and do our part, to pray and weep for our loved ones until they come back home to the church and on the right path towards heaven. Praise be Jesus and Mary.
Misericordes